It was dinner time at home in Seoul when she got the call from Stockholm. Han Kang becoming the first South Korean, the first woman from Asia to win the Nobel Literature Prize. The poetess and novelist who won the 2016 Booker Prize for her novel The Vegetarian, honored for her, quote, intense poetic prose that confronts historical traumas. Charlie James has more.
This year's Nobel Prize in Literature breaks with the award's history, given to a woman outside of the West.
The Nobel Prize in Literature for 2024 is awarded to South Korean author Han Kang for her intense poetic prose that confronts historical traumas and exposes the fragility of human life.
53-year-old novelist Han Kang is no stranger to literary prizes. She won the International Booker Prize in 2016 for her novel The Vegetarian, in which a woman upends Korean norms by deciding to stop eating meat and suffers horrific consequences. Despite her prior successes, Kang was caught off guard by her win.
I just finished dinner with my son, and in Korea, it is just like 8 o'clock in the evening, so it's very peaceful evening. I was really surprised.
Kang is just the 18th woman to win the prize out of 120 laureates, and she's the first South Korean winner. The prize includes a $1 million cash award, which comes from an endowment left by the prize's creator, Swedish inventor Alfred Nobel. The laureates are invited to receive their awards at ceremonies on December 10th, the anniversary of Nobel's death.
For more, let's go to Aquebogue, New York. Journalist Uni Hong, the author of such books as The Birth of Korean Cool, How One Nation is Conquering the World Through Pop Culture, joins us. Good to see you, Uni.
Hello, Francois.
Were you surprised?
No. I mean, I was surprised it happened this year. But for the last couple of decades, South Korea has become sort of the bard of human misery. And first this emerged in film with films like Parasite and 20 years ago with Old Boy. And these explore themes that are universal about the sort of impossibility of being human. And I think it was just a matter of time before the Nobel Committee realized the universality of the Korean story and how uniquely skilled modern Korea is at telling this story.
Yeah, because when we think of France's great cultural time after the Second World War, it was in rebellion to a conservative society. It feels like through her writing, it's kind of the same.
I would say that's an incredibly apt analogy, because I would compare the writings of Han Kang to Camus or Sartre, in fact, because they're about how the impossibility of being natural and being human. Nature is completely the opposite of human existence. We're the only creatures who do things that are not good for us. That self-harm, and the idea with existentialism was, well, we did not ask for this, we did not sign up for this. Why are we here? And there's this awareness of how alienated we are from every other creature on earth that Sartre and Camus write about, and there's a sort of futility. And one of the things that they wrote about a lot is death, and it's not so much that. With futility comes a desire to die, exactly. But Sigmund Freud wrote about a death drive, which he called the Todestrieb, which is not that everyone wants to commit suicide, because that's too violent and gruesome, but everyone wants to be inert. And that's basically what's happening in The Vegetarian. She basically wants to become a vegetable. Or the example that Freud gives is that everyone wants to kind of be a rock. Not Iraq, the country, but a rock. And so, I think this is, yes, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, so that's the universality in Han Kang's writing. What makes it specifically Korean?
Well, as you say, it's coming off of a period of, Korea, it went from being one of the poorest countries in the world to a very, very wealthy country. And with it came this sense of being thrown completely asunder from their identity. one thing that that would be helpful to understand about Korean culture is that they are very attached to nature. The original religion in Korea was animism. They believed that spirits lived in the trees and the mountains. It's sort of like Celtic mythology, and there's still a very strong reverence for nature. And modern life, capitalism, technology, and things that Korea excels at, have made Koreans have a reckoning at how distant they've become from being Korean, from the trees and the mountains. I mean, I'm not kidding, actually, and from nature. And because of Korea's unprecedentedly rapid progress between poverty and richness, they kind of, within one generation, people were able to see human alienation in progress, basically. And I think that's unique to Korea, and that's why they're uniquely qualified to tell this particular kind of story.
And you said at the outset that you're not surprised that she gets the Nobel Literature Prize. Perhaps it's just about the timing a little bit. And, you know, it's something you write about as well, just the fact that the soft power of South Korea just goes from strength to strength.
Yes, it's impossible to deny. And what's interesting, though, about this is, Korean popular culture has been obviously on the rise in the last 10 years or so. But, you know, historically, pop culture and high culture have always been very separate. This is just sort of a universal thing. And I think that the Nobel Committee saw sort of past the glitz of K-pop and BTS and so forth, and they were able to take seriously the sort of philosophical underpinnings of all of the glitz that you see. So it is and it is not related. This win is and it is not related to the pop cultural boom, but definitely it's now part of the ecosystem where sort of a rising tide, what is that expression? A rising tide raises all boats.
How's she perceived in South Korea?
Well, I think what happens frequently in South Korea, and this is not unique to that culture, is there's a great suspicion about artists in general as being sort of troublemakers, and especially if they're women, they face tremendous criticism. There's a strong men's rights movement currently in South Korea, for example, which is why, in turn, there are so many Korean novelists who are women. And so I would say that she also suffered a lot of slings and arrows just by being an outspoken woman who had the audacity to sort of air Korean dirty laundry overseas, basically. And now she's been redeemed, and now suddenly she's a national hero. So
suddenly she's a hero, and you could feel that already back in 2016 when she wins the Man Booker Prize. Yes.
I think that was, well, that's always, well, not always. I mean, that there, people say that the Booker is a horse race, and the Nobel Prize is, well, sort of something holistic. And if you can win both, that's pretty much, she could retire now. I mean, it's I'm very proud of her.
Final question for you, Uni. If we're going to start with one work of hers, for people who've never read her novels and her poetry, where would you begin?
Well, I would definitely begin with The Vegetarian because, as I said, it speaks to something that everyone feels, this malaise that everyone feels, but doesn't know what the words are. Her most recent book is Greek Lessons, which is a little bit more, I don't know, niche is the right word, but it's a book about books, basically. So if you're into sort of Italo Calvino or postmodernism, it's a book about it's about translation, basically. And then I would recommend that.
All right, two recommendations for the price of one. Uni Hong, so many thanks for joining us here on France 24.
Thank you, François.
Stay with us, there's much more to come, more news plus the day's business, and in sports, tributes pouring in for the King of Clay, Rafael Nadal, announcing his retirement, which will come after the Davis Cup finals.